Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Kretzinger. I'm Director of Special Services for the Marshalltown School District. As we enter an additional week of everyone being at home and trying to be safe and healthy during the COVID-19 situation, we want to continue to give you some information about how you can work with your kids and work with yourselves in a healthy and safe way. The weather's getting nicer. Kids are really wanting to be outside and interact with others, but we have to also be very thoughtful about how we do that. So for today, we've asked Dr. Patti to be with us from Gracie Mae. Dr. Patti, what can you tell us about safe ways to interact with our kids?
We're finding that in social distancing times that it's really hard for kids to understand that it's not okay to go play at your friend's house. It's not okay to go play at the park. But we are really focusing on teaching families that there are very playful ways that they can interact safely, including going out into your own backyard and playing. And so we want to encourage kids to get the fresh air, to get the sunshine, to go outside and play and run around. But it's not okay to have friends over. It's not okay to go to a friend's house. It's certainly not okay to go to the parks because the virus lives on those hard surfaces much longer than it lives in the air. We are recommending, as the weather gets warmer, to do things that are really family focused. The people that you live with are the people that you should be playing with. And so we encourage families to go on walks together, take your dogs for a walk together, ride your bikes together, play out in the backyard, build a fort together, inside or outside. The old school playthings that we're encouraging families to kind of bring back would be things like pulling all of those blankets and sheets out of your cupboard and making forts in the home. And you can do this as not just a playful thing, but also a learning thing. So we're encouraging things like, studying the Native American tribes, and maybe each person makes a fort the best way that they can and kind of practice or live out how that tribe might have lived together as a community. There are other things that you can do with fort building that would be really fun if you build a fort throughout the whole house and turn it into a jungle. And using the imagination is perfectly fine. You don't have to construct trees and things like that. You could use a chair for a tree. So there's different things that you could do that would be using the imagination and getting kids to play. But also it's fun for parents too. Like the things that you did as a kid that were really fun, do those. I know that for a lot of us that are, in the late 20s, 30s, 40s, we did things before technology, right? So there are fun things that we can do. I remember being a kid and going outside and playing on our propane tank and pretending that it was a horse. So there are lots of ways that you can just use your imagination to the most that you can. And then there are things that are a little bit more of a discussion or things that are a little bit more planful. And those are helpful things too. And so I brought my box. Our family is having a box a day. And so there's so many things that you can do with just something simple like a box or even an ice cream bucket or a pail or some kind. And so what you can do with that is you can make a memory box so you can keep things, write things down or little artifacts of this time and put those in a box that you can kind of make a time capsule with that maybe when all the kids are grown and the youngest one is 18, then you bring out this time capsule and you kind of look at that. What was this experience like for your family? This is a historical time in our country. So this is like one of the first major events that today's generation is living through that is making history. So this is living history, and making a time capsule is a wonderful idea to do with your family. Another idea is to use that box and have a theme. My family did a theme a week, and now we're doing it every day because we just enjoy doing it. So a theme could be anything. It could be, maybe today's theme is animals. And so we're just collecting all kinds of things that we can do with or for our animals. And then today our theme happens to be Christmas. So by the end of today, we're going to have homemade gifts for each person in our box so that tonight we're going to be opening Christmas gifts in April. So that'll be a lot of fun for us. Just using your imagination, though, really is the key, and trying to engage in playful things that are also maybe learning. I know for me, the best way to learn is when I don't know that I'm doing it. So having those fun things to do. There are so many online interactive resources. And so if you are having a hard time finding that, you know, you can definitely let us know or let your school know. There are so many resources being posted and being shuffled around and emailed out. I really encourage you to use those. There, you know, museums are doing virtual online museums. You can go to parks for the day. You can do all kinds of outings that maybe you would otherwise miss out on. And those resources have been made free for the most part. Even the Scholastic's book is letting us download books to read for free. So those are really cool resources that we are encouraging families, you know, if you have to be in front of technology, using it playfully and as a learning opportunity would be really key. But we also encourage get away from the tablets, get away from the technology. Not everything has to be done virtually. Using your time to write letters, even if you write them to each other or write them to your neighbor and leave it on the doorstep. May Day is coming, so now is a great time to think about making May baskets together and having all those baskets made ahead of time. And then on May Day, assuming that the quarantine is over, maybe you could deliver those. And so there's some ideas that you can have, or you can make them for each other in your own home. There are all kinds of ways to do that. One of my favorite playful things that I've done so far with our family is we had each person set up their room as a place that they always wanted to visit, and we did a tour around the world. And so they just kind of, we didn't do a lot with it. We just had pieces of paper, and like, for example, in Paris, we had a picture of the Eiffel Tower on a wall, and then we had a picture of a restaurant. And so we just kind of like found interesting things that we'd like to do in that city. And then as a family, we took a tour, and we had an interactive moment that way, but the kids had a chance to learn all about those places that they wanted to go.
So Dr. Patti, as we think about, our families are really familiar with our school districts and the ability to reach out to us because our school counselors and social workers are still actively helping them. If they feel like they need a little bit more help than what the school can provide, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, we're easy to get a hold of. So we do have one phone number for every office, and that phone number is area code 319-361-6529. Anyone can call to make a referral, and self-referrals are perfectly fine. We also have an email address, and that email is just help@advocatecenter.org. Really easy to remember. And you can refer either way, by phone call or through email. Our main concern that we're seeing right now is the social isolation is having an impact for both children and adults on depression. And so we are seeing that it's kind of a spike for us, and it's hitting our middle schoolers more than anyone else. So pay attention to that. If you have kids that used to be really interested in social stuff, and now all of a sudden they just want to stay in their rooms, or they're sleeping all the time, they don't want to get into a new routine, things like that. We're really concerned about the spike that we're seeing in depression behaviors. And so that's not just for adults, that's also for the kids. And we're seeing that. The other thing that we're seeing in some circumstances is an increase in anxiety, but I don't think we're seeing as much of that as we thought we would. I think with school being out of session, and in some cases, kids are really stressed out because they were always on the go, and school expectations, and not getting enough rest, and not enough downtime. So for some kids that had really high anxiety, that has really gone down. And so that's actually been kind of cool to see. But for other kids, we have seen an increase in fears and not understanding, parents answering questions would be really helpful. And then turning off the news. That's the biggest one. It's like not having that news on. And kind of just focus on nurturing and bonding and communicating and playing. Those are all the key elements to keeping stress levels down in your home.
Thank you, Dr. Patti. That's something in last week's session that we talked about, is making sure we're staying connected to our families. You know, social distancing does create some challenges, but there are a lot of tools, whether it's a phone to make a phone call or video conferencing. There's a lot of ways we can stay connected with our families and our friends without actually coming in contact with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're getting pretty creative too.
I agree. I think we are. Well, I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you would think to say to our families out there who are continuing to try to figure out how to survive this new normal?
The one thing I would really stress is that there is so much support right now, and it's in every corner. All you have to do is reach out.
Thank you again, Dr. Patti, for your time. Again, this is Dr. Patti with Gracie Mae. Stay connected, stay safe, and stay healthy. Take care.